Good early afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing today? Okay, I'm just getting my ringer turned down here. Make sure we don't get interrupted by any of this. We're going to make some tones today. We are going to have some fun. I'll put this over here. I've got a bunch of my pedals, the majority of my pedals all close by. And what we're going to do, let me get the comments up here. Let's see here. Coco's here early. Says, oh, neat. I'll play around with Ableton Live for a bit while we play. Hi, other way. That was Jason. And let's see here. Playing with pedals here too. Currently, I'm in metal mood. And here's Charlie. Hey, Charlie, how you doing? Yeah, we're going to do something a little different today. I got it nice and bright here in the studio, so I don't, those little tiny knobs. Got to be able to see anything. I got all our patch cables, power supplies. I've got my big pedal board here too, and just a whole bunch of pedals to choose from today. Kevin's here. Kevin says, "Oh, pedals! Yes. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna use it. I've been playing my vintage modern Marshall lately. I've got that hooked up for a clean tone. Well, it's on the edge of breakup tone, which is usually the best place to use pedals. And got some levels going before we got started here. I think I have everything I need. This could either go really, really well or the other way, right? It might not. I don't know. But let's see. We've got a close-up of... I'm just going to use this little... What's this? Like a 2-foot pile board here. And I've got... let's see here. I'm going to just do using the Boss tuner and chaining off of that to power most of the pedals that we're going to pick today. What we're going to do ahead of time before we get started is I would like for everyone, I've got some ideas, like a blues board, a hard rock board, maybe a metal board. I don't know how much metal I can do here today, but that will be mostly from the amp, getting more of a metal tone. But maybe like a David Gilmour style, those kind of things. So this is not going to be like super structured. This is just going to be kind of like what I do when I'm, not doing all the other stuff and not podcasting. I'm just in here just playing around with things. So I thought, hey, we've been doing a lot of the challenges and they're fun, but let's change it up a little bit today. Wednesdays is kind of my, the podcast comes out. Have you heard the podcast today? Scooter trips me out. Every time he comes on, I have a good time. So today, the podcast, we're talking about what's your, ultimate wish list for stuff. And we got to use some of the VIPs in there for that. And I just had fun with that. Just fun. So I had forgot about, Scott had talked about that thing that you put on the back of your guitars that makes it have reverb and chorus and all of those things. It was fun. And so I highly suggest you actually make your own ultimate wish list. What's the stuff that you want? What's the direction really is what it's all about. What's the direction that you want to go with guitar? What are the sounds that you want, And it's the truth. You get a new amp and it may not be exactly what you wanted, but you head that direction and it might take you in a different direction there. So let's see. We got some other folks come in here. Evan's here. What's up, Evan? How you doing? Good to see you. Dean's here. Hi, Dean. How are you doing today? And says, look, my name is up there as a VIP. Yes, we're small but mighty. We've got everybody up there. If it drives anybody nuts, seeing that over and over again, let me know. I can hide it. Let's see here. Evan says most of the podcast. Okay. And Dean says just started it. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And this time of the year, I don't know. It just felt right. Jason says we all have Dumble needs. Yeah, I have a Fuchs. It needs a little work. The reverb's not working on it. And the drive, it's a great pedal platform. That's what I use it for. Over here to my left of the desk, is the Marshalls. And then underneath the desk, there's tons of room. And then over to the right. So I'm going to be, as I get, I had to go through the preamp tubes in both of the Marshalls to make sure that they were working right. It just didn't sound right. And I swapped a bunch out and I got those working. So I'm just going to do one amp at a time as I bring them in here. And Evan switched to Facebook. Okay, cool. So we're going to, I need my notebook here real quick. Hold on a second. Let me go grab this notebook. Okay, so we're going to take some votes as to what style pedal board we should do first. Let me get some things out of the way here. I've got a whole bunch. We can basically go shopping through my pedals I'm not using. And then I've got my main pedal board down here on the ground that's got mostly the exotic stuff. The BB preamp, AC booster, RC booster. I've got a TS9 on it and the EP. TS9's items, but I got the EP booster as well. So my main board's mostly an exotic board. But it does have the M9 Stomp Box modeler on there, which I use a lot. And then I've got that old Digitech RV7 that reverb. It's got the Lexicon stuff in there. So we've got that. The only two pedals that I don't think we're going to be able to use are my my TC Nova. I've got two really nice the delay and the reverb pedals. They need a special power adapter that I cannot put my hands on. So let's see here. Evan wants polka or klezmer. Okay. All right. So let's start off with, here's some of the ideas I had. We used a blues pedal board, heavy pedal board. We could even do like an ambient type thing, classic rock. But I'm gonna wait for the comments to come in, and let's see here. Kevin says, "What's up?" I don't know if Kevin's talking to me. What's up? You guys are up. That's what's up. That's what's up here. So let's start with a blues pedal board. That's going to be the easiest of all of them, right? So I'm going to put down a blues pedal board. What pedals would you have to finish a blues gig? We're going to pick these pedals out here as we're going. Jason says, I'm astonished by how heavy the EP boost is for the size of that pedal. Yeah, it's just as heavy as a full-size pedal. maybe even heavier by a little bit. But yeah, it's very heavy, solid. Be good in a fight. Okay. So for Charlie says blues. Let's see here. Evan says classic rock or blues. And Evan says overdrive. Okay, so we're going to need some sort of an overdrive. Reverb. And he'd still want a compressor. Now the compressor, you don't see a lot on blues pedal boards. I have used it on a blues pedal board with a lot of good results too. So I think what we could do, here's what we'll do. We'll do a classic blues pedal board with a tube screamer. So we'll do something like this. We'll do like a tube screamer. Here, I'll face them this way. Where's the input? So the input's going to come in from the tube screamer and maybe like a boost in front of that. Okay, so let's see here. Overdrive, reverb, compression. I'm going to use this little, I've got reverb on the amp, but we could also, I've got a couple different reverb pedals. This flashback, I went in and set up a really nice one. I don't remember the specifics of it, but I use this all the time. I also have my acoustic pedal board in here too, so that could be something we could get done before the hour's up. So we're going to pick the pedals, we're going to power them up, we're going to patch them together, put them into the vintage modern just straight in. We're not doing any effects loops or anything like that. So we could put this reverb at the end here. Let's get that a little bit bigger. There. Okay, so we got our no, this is delay. Where's the little reverb? Oh, the Hall of Fame reverb. Sorry. I have two small TC pedals. Hall of Fame reverb is over there. Let me go grab that real quick. Okay, so we're going to either have, we'll do it like this. We're either going to have the a compressor or a booster in the front, tube screamer, and then we can try some other pedals too to replace the tube screamer to see if we get it, how much of a blues tone we get. And then we have at the end of our chain, we have our Hall of Fame reverb. Okay. Tuner, I'm going to be powering all these from the tuner. But we're not going to consider that part of the pedal board. That's kind of a given. That's always kind of a cop out for what's your favorite tuner, right? Tuner, is that's a tool. We're going to need that no matter what we do. Okay. So we've got our stuff to push our drive. We've got our drive pedal. What about some other pedals? What about what's a good modulation type pedal? What's a good? Let's see. Evan says, "Want that sustain, man." And Chris is here. Says, "Got tied up with work stuff. Finally made it." Hi, Chris. Good to see you. And let's see here. Evan says, "Duh, of course I have a tuner." I know everybody. Well, let's take up some of our 2 feet of space with the tuner, right? Evan says delay, but I wouldn't use it here. I don't think. I've used delay in blues. Sometimes, I'll use it like Robin Ford with just like a slap back delay works really nice with blues. The big 300 millisecond, big huge delay never works well with blues. It's a little too like showy. But what we can do is once we have this set up, we can swap out some drives. There's my BB preamp we can put in there. SD1 is always good. My Keeley blues driver, we can put that in there too. So we'll do some swapping. I've also got a really cool pedal. It's very tight. It's a Maxon SD9 Sonic Distortion, which is really nice. It's very tight. It doesn't have that, Tube Screamer blends in a little bit of the clean to the distorted sound too. So this might be something we look at too. So we got a bunch here. I've also had good results. No kidding. With a DS1 in blues. In fact, in recording blues, I had some really, really, really good results with that. So let's see here. Let me go up here. That was delay. Jason says a rotary or maybe a univibe. Yeah, we could do that. I used to use a microvibe pedal all the time. I ended up selling it. I should have kept it. That's one of the ones that got away. And I've got tremolo. I've got a really cool tremolo I used to use on stage all the time that I'll go get in a second. And let's see what else. I've got that, the Arion stereo chorus that a lot of fusion guys use as kind of like a Leslie type sound. We could try that. And I also have this M5 pedal that has all of those modeled in there. So we can go through those. Let's see here. Evan says, I just haven't figured out how to really get a delay to sound nice, I think. Yeah, you can always get a delay to sound nice if it blends in with the reverb, and it's not too long. There's a lot of delay. Most of the guitar that's recorded that, on albums and stuff like that you hear have delay in it all over the place that was put in after the fact. And it's used to create space. So there's just two ways of thinking of delay. Are you creating the space, or are you using it as a feature to say, hey, I got delay on the pedal, and it's really all the volume and how many repeats. Let's see. David's here, back from vacation. I saw those pictures, David. That's awesome. Awesome. Glad you're back, man. Coke's here. Toddler meltdown. I'm back, sort of catching up here. Okay, I understand that. whole lot. Oh man, good luck to you. Good luck to you. Let's see here. Jason says, I love trim. Okay, so I'm going to go grab that. I've got an old Dana Electro pedal. And then Evan says, I can totally see that with the DS1. I like the SD1 in place of the Tube Screamer personally. I do too. I like it a lot. I've used this for a long time. And the deal with the Tube Screamer is that blending of the clean sound in there with it. It's a lot of people use it into a clean amp, and it's not, to me, it's not using the pedal for the best. It's kind of a blended thing. In fact, I have a Sparkle Drive, Voodoo Lab Sparkle Drive. We could try that a little bit later too, that you can actually blend more of the clean in if that's what you're wanting. So, but if your amp has some breakup to it, to me, that's when the Tube Screamer really shines. That's when it adds some of the clean amp sound, straight guitar sound into that, it gets distorted, and you have a full driven sound, not a blended kind of sound. And then what that does is it gives it attack. Also has a mid hump too, which we're going to see with the BB preamp and all of those. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pick one modulation pedal for now. I'm going to go grab the tremolo. Okay, so I'll be right back. We'll grab that. Another thing for blues boards that's always really nice is an EQ pedal. Sometimes, especially if you're using humbuckers in a blues setting, an EQ pedal can help give you kind of a Fendery kind of sound. You can take some of the mids out, boost a little of the bass, get a more scooped sound too. But that's for another day. Okay, so let's wire these things up here. Let's start with we'll start with the boost. Okay, we'll go boost, Tube Screamer, and we'll use the fish and chips. No, this is the tuna melt. Tuna melt vibrato. Okay, we'll use that, and then we'll go into the Hall of Fame. I'll try first with the reverb that's on the amp, and then we'll switch to the Hall of Fame too. Why would you want this? Why would you want to use a reverb pedal when your amp has reverb in it? I started using these because I was playing on stages that were bouncy, and if you have a spring reverb and a bouncy stage, people are not going to be very happy. There's going to be some upset people because, if you've ever heard, sorry about that. I know that's loud. If you've ever heard the crash of a real spring reverb, let me tell you something. Not fun at all. A lot louder than I thought that was going to be. Okay, so now we're using mostly Planet Waves connector cords. I used to use just Bill Lawrence. I would buy just the raw cable and make my own connectors here. Let's see here. Let's do one that's Let me see if I've got one that's angled on one side. No, we'll just stick with the angles here. I don't like the angles into this dang electro for some reason. All right. All right, so we've gone in, out, in, out. I'm going to bring in the power here. All right, so let's bring in the power. I'm going to hook all these up here. 1, 2. Here, I'll do that. 3 and 4. Okay, so we've got power. Okay, that's working. That's working. Okay, so they all light up. So now let's connect them to the amp here. Okay, so this goes to the amp. And then we'll get a new chord for the guitar. I'm going to start with a Strat first. Here, we'll go in to the EP booster. And I'll grab the Strat real quick. Here, this is my regular Strat. Franklin pickups, the front two are just vintage hot pickups, and this one is a P90 style pickup right there. I'll wait for these headphones after I get everything lined up here. This is fun. It's a complete mess. This is awesome. We're making a mess here. All right, so let's hit the standby here. Let me know, everyone, if you can hear that. That's the clean tone from the Marshall. How loud is that to everybody? So that's on, this is a low volume, but Jason says loud and clear. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so the way I like to set my amp up is when I'm on the neck pickup here. Switch back. No, that's not it. When I'm on the neck pickup, pretty clean, but when I go on the bridge, it's pushes just a little bit too much, so it pushes into the. Okay, so a little bit of crunch there with the bridge pickup. So let's start off here. Now we have the reverb from the amp. Let's use the reverb pedal here. So let me turn this reverb off. Oh, that always makes me sad when the reverb goes away. We'll get the Hall of Fame here. So you can hear already, I've set it up for a brighter. Yeah, a brighter reverb. Let's just go too far with it. Let's take it back to where it sounds nicer. Pretty good. Actually, a little bright for this amp. I must have been using it probably into one of the crates that has it. Okay, so we've got our reverb now. let's get our Tube Screamer set up. So I'm going to knock all the volumes down. And it's got a very dim light. Okay, so let's see here. So we have level and drive. So I'm going to keep the drive down low and bring the level up a little bit. So when I'm on when I'm on my neck pickup, because I have the amp set on the edge of breakup, when I play heavy, it saturates. But when I play light, that clean sound comes in low. Classic blues pedal sound. So let's bring the level down and the gain back up a little bit. Now, do you hear that mid hump? The more of the drive that I put in, the more of the drive that I put in, playing in B. How about that? The more of the drive, now I'm at noon on the drive. I'm going to actually add a little high end. That's nice. I'm going to roll my volume down a little bit. You hear that mid pushing. Now I've got the vintage monitor set up with not a whole ton of mids in there to be more kind of Fendery. Okay, so there's our drive sound. Let's get our tuna melt here going. Not happy on one of the things. This may have... I don't know if this one's going to work for us or not. Yeah, we might have to go with the... This may be DOA. Haven't used this in a long time. Yeah, this one's DOA. So, let's see here. I'm going to... Let me grab another pedal that I wanted you to hear. I'm going to grab one of the Arion stereo courses, and we'll hear kind of that watery effect that it has. And then we can grab the Line 6 M5 and we can get a nice tremolo from there. So hold on one second. Let me go grab something to replace this. All right. Okay, that's on standby. That needs to be looked at. One and input. All right, lights up. So we got fooled on the last pedal. It didn't light up. I mean, it lit up, but it didn't do. All right, let's turn the standby back on. Okay. Now this used to be a really cheap pedal. What is it? I don't know, SHZ or SCZ1, I think it is. That's wrong on that pedal. But it does a lot of different cool stuff. It's kind of like a phaser and a chorus together. You get some of these. At slow speeds, it really does a nice slow phaser. There's some more depth. It's not your typical chorus. I would use it a lot for that kind of a sound, to bring in almost like a univibe sound. Yeah, you get to noon, it starts sounding like a chorus pedal. Right, we'll back it off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to overdo it here. Very into a swirly kind of trim. Let's get that. It's a very neat pedal. In fact, Exotic makes a hard bypass for this. You'll see this pedal with a actual knob, like a stomp like this, drilled into the front of it, so it gets rid of this kind of plastic. Now we can bring the drive back a little on that. We get the rate. These names don't work right. This was mislabeled as a delay pedal. So you're looking at delay, depth, and repeat. It's not going to do those things. That's nice. And here we go. This is going to be your John Scofield sound. And also, so to me, it blurs the line between a phaser, a univibe, and a vibrato, depending on the speed and the depth and the rate of that. It also runs stereo. Okay. Let's see here. Jason says, he says, sad day, dead trim. Yeah, I don't. It sounds like it's something in one of the jacks. I think it'll probably be pretty easy. It's been beat up. It's amazing the sticker's still on there, you know. But this will do in a pinch. This Arion, the stereo chorus, and we can bring the M5 in too here and check that out. Well, let's do what we've got here. Let's turn that off. Let's go to the boost. Now I'm running clean, just the reverb. Let's turn on our boost for a minute. So here's low. You can hear the jump up even at a very low. It still adds a little bit. Now this is supposedly a full frequency boost, but it does some other stuff to it. Here we go. So this is where we're hitting the amp. Now you're starting to hear some of the martialness from the amp. So this, just running through the reverb, it's giving a lot of boost straight to the amp. But what I would like to do is I like to run it in front of the drive. So here's our tube screamer. We've set that up for a nice little bit of drive. Now when we have this boost pedal here, it's going to hit all of the level into the front of the distortion instead of into the front of the amp. So it's not going to give as dramatic a boost as it is going to make this pedal distort more. Okay. So here's a boosted tube screamer. Boosted tube screamer is a sound that I used for years. You can do it a lot of different ways. This is with a clean boost. You can boost a tube screamer with another tube screamer, which is a really cool sound as well. It's very similar to this. Very similar sound to this. You can boost it with a compressor as well. That sound of two, if you ever listen to Fish, that's the sound of two tube screamers boosted. He even does it with a compressor before the two tube screamers too. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get rid of this boost, the EP booster. I'm going to replace it with the Dynacomp. And we'll hear what the difference is between those two. So this is what the boosted tube screamer sounds like here. Okay. All right, so we're going to stand by. Take this out. And we're going to hook up the compressor. Where's the power? Here it is. This might be tough to make it look nice. Don't have enough distance on there to make it look nice, but let's turn the knobs at 12 o'clock, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the amp back on. So there's our sound with just the tube screamer and the Hall of Fame reverb. Now we're going to turn this on, and you hear the jump up in volume right away. Dynamics are already tightened up. I would give this a little more output, maybe a little bit less. Here's some bridge pickup. What does that sound like to you? What's the difference between the boosting with the EP booster or the Dynacomp now? We can probably simulate the clean boost more by turning the sustain down and really cranking this. We got some, let's see here. Steven's here. Hey, Steven. Steven says, would you use a cranked amp for all overdrive pedals? No, not all of them. This here, let's see here. There we go. BB preamp sounds great into a totally clean amp. A lot of transistor bass distortions sound great into a totally clean amp. This blues driver sounds good into a clean amp. What else would I use into a clean amp? Direct drive. I've got a Barber direct drive that sounds great into a clean amp. Those are mostly amp in a box type pedals, something where it's going to sound. The one that I'm looking at now, which is like cheap pedals, the TC Mojo. That one seems to work real well into clean pedal. My Fuchs amp works really nicely clean. Fenders that I would use for blues, once you get to 3, they start to add some of that gain in already. So I've set the amp I'm using, which someone asked me today. Sidoni's here. Hey, how you doing? What amp is he using? I am using the Marshall Vintage Modern. It's a 50 watt combo. And let's see here. Let me go back. This was Steven's question. He says, would you use a crank amp for all overdrive pedals? And Steven says, I have a BD2 and it does sound better than my tube screamer with the amp clean. Yeah, I really love a tube screamer on a amp on breakup. I don't like it on like a twin or something like that. If we were playing and the amp I had to play was a twin, I would use the tube screamer to boost whatever, maybe my blues driver or that direct drive I would use a lot. It's got kind of a dumbly kind of overdrive sound, and then tube screamer in front of it sounds fantastic. But if I was to run the tube screamer by itself, it just doesn't sound right to me. On my main board, which I have down here, I use the RC booster. If I'm into a clean amp, the RC booster gives a great Fender breakup sound. And if you put a tube screamer in front of it, it's Stevie Ray Vaughan all day long. That's one thing. I'm thinking about doing a video about how to use exotic effects pedals because no one does this. They all review the one pedal, the BB preamp or the AC booster or the EP booster. But that's not where they sound the best. They sound the best when you've got the 3 original pedals together. You can get BB preamp gives you like Andy Timmons type overdrive distortion. In fact, he used this for a while till he switched over. AC booster in front of this sounds just like Eric Johnson. You get that fat Eric Johnson sound going into this. And then RC booster boosts this. It has kind of a Marshally pushed Marshall sound. And then, but if you just use the RC booster by itself, Even if you're in a Vox amp or anything with EL34s, it brings Fender sparkle to it. Then you can use your booster pedals and your tube screamers. I'm going to do a video for that. It's a really, really fantastic setup having those three there. If you're doing a gig, you can get so many different sounds on that. Jason says, wild and mislabeled chorus that sounds like a phaser. Yeah, I have another one that's labeled correctly. I have two of them. I use them a lot. Problem is sometimes on some amps they suck tone a little bit. You know, when you're not using them. It's not doing it right now for this, so that's pretty nice. Charlie says, need to sign off. We'll listen later. Great show. Thank you, Charlie. You know what we'll do? We're doing a lot with blues today. We'll just stick with blues, and then next week we can we'll do another style. So we'll keep going with this. Steven, and he says, Steven says, I'm using a deluxe reverb tone master, which is surprisingly great cranked. I've been out of the Fender stuff for a while. I know that Tone Master was one amp and a deluxe reverb. I remember those two separate things. So is that in? Let me look that up real quick. I'm interested about that. Deluxe reverb Tone Master. Fender Tone Master Deluxe. Okay, here we go. Let's see what. Okay, so it's just it's a 100-watt digital deluxe reverb. Okay, so it's a digital version of the deluxe reverb. That's cool. That's cool. I know that I forget the name of it. Their modeling amp had a great deluxe reverb model on it. So maybe it's that with a really nice power. It uses the Jensen Neodyme speaker, power attenuation, digital modeling, and it's got a speaker emulated. Cool, man. What was that, $900? That's awesome. Okay, so let's see here. Someone's trying to call. No, thank you. Digital version. Okay, cool. I haven't played those before. The Mustang is a really good deluxe reverb. Jason says, do you have a Blues Breaker style pedal? So, I don't have a Blues Breaker style pedal. Blues Breaker is a soft clipping pedal that doesn't have doesn't let the clean signal come through. I like to use the SD1 for that. That's a soft clipping pedal that doesn't have, that's not, but it's not the same thing as the Blues Breaker style pedal. The BB preamp gives you that Marshall kind of thing. Let's swap that right now. So let's take the Tube Screamer out, and we'll put the BB preamp in, and you're going to hear a big difference. Let's see here. Before I do, Steven says, I have the Blonde. Can't believe you have not heard of it. Check them out. Great reviews. Cool. I will. I definitely will. 900 pounds in the UK, not $900. I was looking at Sweetwater, which is $8.99 US. So it's so I just rounded up there. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch out this BB for this BB preamp. And I have one more thing to do after that too. I just got an idea. Hold on one second. Let's switch some out. So I'm going to put the EP back in for this. Let's see here. So going this way. Here. And I'm going to show you different. I'm going to show you this. to do this. Okay. All right, so let's turn the amp back on. So here's our clean, just with the Hall of Fame. I'm going to turn on. Let's see here. There's our volume and our drive. Now here's where I like to play blues. This is going to, like a blues breaker, this is going to give you a lot of amp, a tighter sound. To me, I love that sound for blues. This pedal sounds good into any amp I've ever put into it. It makes the strings feel really good when you play through that. Quietens up. So this is my preferred pedal for blues, is the BB preamp. What I like to do is for a solo, put the EP booster in front of it. In fact, you could do a whole gig, a whole blues gig, with just these two pedals and leaving the EP booster, leaving them both on all of the time. Just using your volume. You can transition between, because of the sustain is so nice, especially with these two pedals, you can transition in between chords, rhythm playing, and lead playing very easily. The chords sound just the way you would like them to, sharp and with attack, but they have tons of sustain for that. Let's see how much drive this BB preamp will give us. Turn the volume down, turn the drive all the way up. So here's the... Fine. Really fat, low. Especially if you have, say you have an amp with too much bass, it's got an active bass control. You can just dial it in right till you start to hear it. I like it right about like 2 or 3 o'clock right there. Okay, so what I'd like to do, the last thing I'd like to do is I'm going to swap out the EP booster with an SD1. And remember this sound. I'm going to swap this out real quick. This will be our last swap for our blues board today. There we go. I need to get some longer power cables for these. All right. It's not a good looking board, is it, the way it's set up? Now my volume has climbed up. Is it still okay out there? Are the levels still all right? Let's see here. Steven says, everything guitar is more expensive here than the U.S. Yeah, I think so. But depends on where you go. There's some places in the U.S. where they take advantage of the location. Okay, so here's our BB preamp. I'll lower the volume down just a little bit. All right, and I'm going to put everything at noon on the SD1. Let's hear what we get. You hear how aggressive it sounded just when I kicked it on, okay? Very aggressive for blues, okay? So it's pushing the Marshallness out straight ahead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this more as an overdrive. So here we are, BB preamp. Now, a couple things I noticed when I kick in this pedal. The low end went away. I kicked in the SD1. The low end went away. Pushed mids a bit, kind of like a tube screamer. But it's pure gain. You don't have that blend coming through. And those pinch harmonics start to pop out really easy. So if, say I was doing a blues gig and I had something that was a little bit more like a song that was a little bit more rock or southern rock, maybe I would put this in front of a BB preamp. But you can also put a tube screamer. Sounds great in front of a BB preamp too. That's a good combination. Okay, well there we go. It's 12 o'clock. Thanks everybody for hanging out with me. I didn't know how this was going to go. I thought I'm going to listen back to this and hear what it sounded like. But in the room, got some really nice usable blues tones. Everything kind of kicked up a notch when I put the super overdrive on. But the BB preamp can get a whole lot of gain. Here, I had the gain cranked on that. Let me see. Get this back to where I normally play it. Now I'm going to kick in this. See, now it's way too bright for that. To me, I can get some like Eric Clapton lead tones. He's got all of the active stuff in his circuitry on his guitar. He can add mids and all of those things the one of the knobs on the Eric Clapton Signature adds the mid boost on there. And this sounds a lot like that to me. So if I was running the BB preamp, just normal, I could get this in. That's kind of the gain for a lead in blues. That's kind of, you can push it a little farther than that, but not much. Usually just a boost on this would be going. Now I've swapped in a lot of boost pedals here. I would probably have several different ones for different situations right there. Okay, sorry about the tuna melt. It melted. No fair. This was a great week. Had a lot of fun on the regular audio podcast. I had a lot of fun hanging out with everybody today, going through some pedals. We'll do a different board next week. We did blues this week. We'll do more of like a hard rock next week, I think, probably. Let's see here. David says, fun stuff. Great to see you, David. Jason says, I'm into it. Thanks, Lee. Cool. Steven says, have to go. Cheers, Lee. Enjoy that. Thanks, Steven. Thanks for hanging out with us today. And later Blues Bandits, right? Thanks, Kevin. All right, everybody. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.